So when you're doing something like gender, okay, so you have like zeros and ones, right? And so what you want to do is, so this is in the Excel, okay? And see, it's giving me this thing. It's saying it's text because I formatted that. So let me do it over here since I didn't format these. Okay, so we'll just do it again real quick. So 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. Whoops. Okay. And so in your, what you want to do is you want to make sure that when this gets imported to SPSS that it didn't somehow screw up the data. You want to make sure you have the same number of males and females, right?
Okay.
So the way you do this in Excel, if you want to count the number of times a variable comes about, use a command called COUNTIF. And I'm going to make this really big. I'll kind of blow this up a little bit. 16. Okay, so the COUNTIF command looks like this. It says, so suppose I want to look at number of females. Okay, then I'll say equals. Always start with an Excel with an equals, right? And COUNTIF. And then notice the cool thing about Excel is it literally highlights what it wants you to put in. So it wants you to put in the range of the data. So I'm going to highlight this, okay? And then I'm going to tell it the criteria. So I'm going to say equals 1. Okay? So this is going to count the number of times 1 occurs. And that's wrong. So I got to change, hold on, I think I got to change this. I got to take out the equals. Did the command wrong. Nope. Oh, because I'm not counting them all. For some reason, sorry. For some reason, when I did the range, I didn't count them all. Let me go back and change that real quick. I meant to choose all of these. There we go. Okay. So now I have the range correct. It's doing D2 to D8. Now, I'll get the right answer. Okay. So that tells me there were 4 females. Okay. The problem was I didn't highlight the whole thing for some reason. I just did D8. Okay. And sure enough, I count 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. Okay, so you can use the COUNTIF command to count in Excel, and then you can go back
to this other just to double check and make sure that that landed the same.
Exactly. So that's a nice way. When you're doing character, it's the same thing. Like if I have, for example, if I have like head, thorax, it's actually the COUNTIF is kind of the same sort of way. Let me just say spleen, head. And spleen, and spleen, and spleen. Okay, so if I want to count a number of times, like say spleen occurs, okay, it's exactly the same sort of command, but there you have to use the parentheses for sure. So there's a little bit of wiggle room in how you can do this command, but when you do characters, you'll do the same thing. You'll say COUNTIF, so it counts both characters. These finger commands are driving me nuts. Hard time. Okay, so I'm going to start up here, highlight all these guys. I'm going to say comma, and then I'm just going to say spleen. I don't have to put an equals. And that tells me that there's four spleens.
Okay.
Okay. And so that's kind of a nice way of counting things, just to make sure that you didn't make a mistake somewhere.
Okay.
Okay.